Michael, we've got something special for you, and Leslie Roberts is going to come up and present you the C.F. Martin guitar, one of a kind, Martin D42, inlaid with BMI Songwriter of the Year.
I know all the young kids have headed to Sony or to Warner to go party their ass off the rest of the night, and that's completely fine with me. I was there one day. But when I heard that I had won, which was very, very recently, and I swear this is true, my first thought was, I'm so glad that I'm with BMI. Because it's the only way I would ever beat Ashley Gorley in anything. Whoever's running the teleprompter, I'm sorry, I'm gonna get off script a little bit, but first I want to thank Dennis McCoskey and Jesse McCoskey. In the past few years, well, first of all, Dennis was the first and only person to ever sign me to a publishing deal back in 2014. And since then, we have started a real publishing company called Relative Music, and we are all three damn proud of that shit. So thank you guys for including us in that. You guys have worked very hard for me, and this is just as much y'all's award as it is mine, so thank you very much. I do have a handful of other people to thank tonight, but there's two people that are truly responsible for me being here at BMI tonight. One is responsible for me being here, and one is responsible for keeping me here. The person that is responsible for getting me here at BMI from the very beginning is my sister. And the funny part is, she asked me about 30 seconds ago before they called me up, she said, "Are you giving a speech?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm giving a speech." So she had no idea this was coming. I know you're crying your eyes out right now, and I'm very sorry about that. I moved to town 12 and a half years ago, following in my sister's footsteps. And very similar to Toby, the first thing that she told me when I got here was, one day you're gonna start making money off the songs that you write, so you're gonna need to belong to a PRO. But she had interned, right, here at BMI. This was 2010. And so she said, "You should just go to BMI." And me, not knowing anything about anything, just said, "Yeah, that sounds good." And the next day, I was up here downstairs at BMI signing a piece of paper saying that I belong to them. And at the time, it was such a snap decision, which is kind of how I make a lot of decisions in my life. It was a very thoughtless decision. I didn't know what BMI or a PRO even was. And looking back, it was one of, if not the best decision I had ever made since I've been in this town, and I truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. So Madison, thank you. The woman responsible for keeping me at BMI is none other than Miss Leslie Roberts. Shortly after I signed with BMI, Leslie took a meeting with me. And when I say shortly, I mean like a few months into me living in Nashville. Some punk kid with a Chicago Cubs hat, flat bill cap, written 6 songs in his entire life, and that's true, took a meeting with me. But that's who Leslie was. And the longer I've been with BMI, I've learned that that's who BMI is. And as a whole, that's what BMI was. And she took a chance on me. She gave me a chance. And truly, 3 months into town, I was fresh off the boat, and she let me come into her office and play her the literally 5 or 6 songs that I had to my name. And one of those songs that I'd written, I don't know if you remember this, but the song was called Scars. And at the end of that meeting, I remember Leslie saying something along the lines of, "Yeah, these are okay. But there's this one song called Scars. It's pretty good, and I think you're onto something." And you know, I hadn't taken any meetings at this point of any kind in Nashville yet. It was my first one. And that one comment that Leslie made, it meant the entire world to me. Just like nearly everybody in this room, I moved from a small town to Nashville. I had no idea if the shit that I was writing was any good at all. I had nothing to compare it to. And hearing that from Leslie gave me all the confidence I needed to believe that I could actually make it in this town. And that what I was writing had a little meat on its bone. So Leslie, thank you very much. Leslie Roberts, everybody. I got married last week. Callie, you look beautiful, baby. And through traveling from, the wedding venue to my house, to the rehearsal venue, to my house, and this and that, I took an Uber with a guy. And the man was from Honduras. I did not know him. It was a random Uber. And I kind of struck up a conversation, and he talked about how he grew up in poverty, living in Honduras as a kid, but how his parents worked as hard as they could so that their 3 kids would never be hungry, so that his 2 other brothers and sisters would never go hungry, and so that they could eventually, by saving money, create opportunity for their kids that they never got to experience, that his parents never got to experience. Years later, his mom and his dad moved his entire family to Miami, where they all became legal citizens of the United States, where this man met his wife, had his children, and created a legacy of his own. All because of the opportunity that his parents created for him. And all I could think about was how my mom and my dad did the same exact thing. And my parents are here tonight. I told my parents I wanted to move to Nashville in the winter of 2010, and they said yes. And they made sacrifices to help put me through school. That was part of the deal I made with my mom. She said, you got to go to school if you're going to move to Nashville. To help me out financially, and I want to say from time to time, but dude, it was all the time. They helped me out all the time, and I know you guys know what I'm talking about. But they made sacrifices to help create opportunity for me. An opportunity to move somewhere and make a name for myself. The opportunity to create a legacy of my own, for my last name, for my family's name. And by God, that's exactly what I did in this town. And I'm very proud of that. And I owe every single bit of that to my mom and dad, Mike and Sarah Hardy. I love you guys and thank y'all so much. I want to thank every songwriter in this room. Casey Bethard, I see you, man. Ashley Gorley. I see so many people in here tonight that took a chance on me when I had nothing. I had not a pot to piss in, but you guys saw something in me and you gave me a shot as a songwriter because you thought that something that I was doing as a writer had a little bit of meat on its bone. And you guys have no idea how much that poured fuel on my fire as a songwriter and how much that inspired me to know that what I was doing was something worth believing in. And so I really appreciate that. And in closing, I want to thank BMI so much for being here for me every single step of the way, for introducing me to some of my favorite collaborators that I still write with to this day, for creating opportunities for me that helped advance my songwriting career. Many of those opportunities in Key West, Florida, if y'all know what I'm talking about. For paying my bills, for helping me buy my first house and my second one, and sometimes just texting me to check in, to say, hey, I hope you're doing good. How's your this and how's your that? And that shit always meant a lot to me. Leslie, Clay, Marianne, Josh, truly, I never forgot about that. I never do. And I can honestly say without a doubt I don't know where I would be in this town if that 19-year-old kid would not have walked into this building and blindly signed that piece of paper. So BMI, thank you so, so much. This is one of the best nights of my life. Thank you guys so much. I love Nashville. I love every single person in this room. You guys are fucking awesome. Thank you so, so much. It's an honor.